Right, it's time to stick them on there. It's going to be a little bit tricky with limited workshop space, but I reckon I can do it. Right, got it upside down. Taking the maxle out, let some pressure out. Don't reckon this will be too much of a problem to get off. Right, there is no way this is happening with tyre levers, I'm telling you now. You're not going to be able to do that. This is like a motorcycle tyre. I don't know why I thought it would be possible, but yeah, basically, yeah, it's not going to be possible to do it. I'll just show you why. So if you just look at how much of the tyre is actually in there, I mean, basically putting a tyre lever in there, you know, you're never going to get that out. It's so tight as well. There's actually no way you can do it, so I'm just going to try and take it to a tyre place. Here we go then. Hopefully these guys can help. Right, that was a dead end, so they can't do it. It won't fit their machine apparently, so they're saying they'd have to do it by hand. It'd probably damage the rim or something like that. So I think I'm going to have to try a proper motorcycle shop. I don't know what one's going to be open. So because I couldn't get the tyre done by the tyre place up the road, I've actually been sort of having a little ring round, and I found a Servon dealer, believe it or not, in this town. So that's pretty good. So I've actually just given him a call, and he said I can fit the tyres for you, no problem. But of course, the problem is I've got to obviously get the rear, this one off. The front one's easy because it's just like a maxle, but this one you obviously have to, yeah, take all the torque arms off, take the hub motor and wheel out as one, and then I've got to unwire it from the controller as well, which is a complete pain in the backside. I've taken the torque arms off, and basically the back wheel is ready to come out. On this one it's a bit interesting because I've just got the chain, I've got no sort of chain tension, I've just got a chain that's exactly the right length. It didn't start out exactly the right length, but it's stretched a little bit, so it just goes in one gear, so it kind of looks a lot neater, but obviously it's going to be a bit of a pain when you're sort of trying to put it back in. But it's just another little thing. It doesn't seem too bad, but at least it means I can get those tyres on. And here we go. I like this motor because it's quite light. It's just a 5,000 watt motor. You don't need anything more on a bike like this because you can peak at a lot higher. It just means you've got a really heavy wheel if you sort of have anything else. So now I've got it down, I've got the back wheel out. What I'm going to have to do is disconnect the phase wires and the hall sensor wires. So for that, just get the bike in the right place, up the right way round, and then I can start unscrewing these and getting the side panel off. Right, the side's off. Battery's going to have to be moved out of position because the controller's there, and we need to get the phase connectors off of that under there from little screws. They're basically ring terminals screwed onto this, which is annoying because it means all this, we've got to pull all this out. So I've actually just flipped the bike around that because the other panel on the other side, yeah, basically all the brake lines and stuff run down that side. I'd forgotten, and this is where this side of the panel is the one which you can open to get to the breakers and everything else. So basically what I've done is just taken the other panel off. It means this battery should just slide out and I can just whack it on here for now and get to the terminals on the Sadverton. It's a mission just to change tyres. Right, so another thing I just noticed is I've actually soldered all of the hall wires onto the wires from the controller. So well done, Andy K. I'm going to have to basically cut these in order to get the wheel out. For crying out loud. Oh well, we're halfway through now, so we'll have to continue. The actual phase wires are easy to unscrew. You can just unscrew them from the controller there. So finally, after a lot of jigging around, I've managed to get it out. So there you go, there's the hall sensor wires. The plug on the other side is actually for the other set of hall sensors, but they have broken because I actually had an issue a long time ago where one of these bolts came out and it sheared through this, you know, the plastic shielding on here, the plastic casing on here, and it basically just took out all the hall sensors on one side. Lucky the other one still worked. Here we go then, stripped and ready to be put back together again with new tyres. I'm going to use this opportunity to have a little bit of a tidy up in there as well, wiring wise, because it's a little bit of a mess. Just like as time's gone on, I've just kind of added things, changed things around, and I've got some excess wiring in there that should be just taken out really. that's the Sur-Ron dealer that's near me, so I've just dropped the wheels and the tyres off so they can put them on. I was talking to them actually, they say they build bikes to order in there, the Sur-Ron bikes, so I was also talking to them about whether I could get like a tail tidy from them for the rear lights and stuff, but I think they can get Sur-Ron parts, which is interesting to know. It's just around the corner. Right, just come back and this has arrived. So this is actually the rear fender number plate holder for the Sur-Ron L1E, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try mounting it on my bike. So basically it's going to give me a rear mudguard, or part of one, and also it'll give me the ability to, you know, attach a light cluster to the back of this. Now what's weird is actually I was just talking to the guys in the Sur-Ron, the Sur-Ron dealer, and they told me that they actually do have these in stock. Like, so I've ordered this one off of eBay, obviously from somebody that, funnily enough, actually watches the videos. So hi to you if you're watching. But yeah, basically they've just told me they sell the whole thing, and I think it means with the light cluster. So probably for the same price I could have got the light included as well. But I'm going to ask them anyway when I go back down there later, when they've done the tyres, if they can sell me the light cluster thing that fits on here as well, because then that'd just be an all-in-one neat solution. Now the reason I want to do this is because obviously I've actually fitted a saddle onto the bike now, so you know, I can't actually run there's nowhere to stick the number plate or the lights. So that's the plan anyway. So I'm thinking probably tomorrow I'll be able to start doing, you know, putting things back together on the bike. I'm not looking forward to some of it because there's some wiring to do, but... Right guys, it's the next day now. Got the new tyres on. Look at that. How good do they look? Proper nice chunky knobbly tyres. Now all I've got to do is put it all back together again. So I think the way I'm going to tackle this is flip the bike back over, put the wheel on, basically put both wheels on, then flip it back over, and then I can actually do the wiring with the bike upright on its own wheels. I think that's probably the best way of doing it. It's so much easier than doing sort of regular hub motors on bike frames, because these dropouts are just purposely made for this sort of wheel, so there's no pulling it apart or stretching it. Even with the spacers, it just goes straight in, and the chain was easy to just take off and put back on again. It's exactly the right length, this chain. Because I don't pedal a huge amount on this, it's not really ever going to wear or change, so that's a good thing. So you can actually do it with a chain, you know, with the actual chain without a chain tensioner. Just got to do the torque arms and stuff now. So remember this thing, the little rear fender bracket which goes on the back with the number plate holder and everything else, which I haven't actually got, couldn't manage to get that from the Sur-Ron dealer. So the holes on the bracket were a little bit small, so I've just kind of drilled them out, but it does actually fit. So there you go, it does actually fit, doesn't rub on the wheel, it's actually perfect. So this must be the same, obviously it's going to be the same distance on the Sur-Ron one because it's same size wheel. That looks good. I can just use the axle bolts to tighten that up. Right, they're on then. I've also done the front wheel as well. That looks so good. Yeah, look at that. Right, so nearly all back together. I've kind of done a bit of tidying up with the wiring and stuff here. Much neater. I've got quite a lot of doubling up of cables here, where I've kind of tried to share the current. See, I've got two of these in parallel, so I've used thinner gauge wire, basically because it's easier to manage, and then kind of like, you know, doubled it up. Yeah, eventually I want to replace it with, so you can see here, you've got a couple of gauges, a couple of wires there. It's probably still not enough really. I want to eventually go to higher gauge, but I haven't quite done it yet. Anyway, this will get it going. Right, moment of truth then. Flick the breakers, turn the BMS on, lights come on, it's a good sign. What the beeping is, I don't know. I think that's gone into some sort of, it's gone into some weird mode. Right, it's back on there, it's strange, I don't know what that's about. Let's try the controller. Controller's on. Right, this is where you might have some issues with, you know, wires, if you haven't got wires right or anything like that. Let's give it a little bit of throttle. Right, that's moving forward okay. No errors on here. Cool, okay, looking good. Right, I'm going to get it back together, tie wrap all the motor wires, yeah, and hopefully have a little blast. It's basically done. It's basically done. The only trouble is I've made a bit of a cock up and I've not routed this wire through the swing arm properly, so a bit annoying, but not the end of the world.